NBA preseason, a lot of fluky, weird things can happen. You don't want to jump to too many conclusions off of NBA preseason. Just remember that, guys. What is this? Huh? Okay, Dereck Lively posting up Marcus Smart. All right, that's good to see. It's nothing too crazy, but it's kind of impressive. Marcus Smart's shorter, but he's looking very thick lately, so that was a nice move. Okay, what is this? What? No, that's not what I'm saying. All I'm saying is, have you seen Wilt Chamberlain do that? Dude, you can't say you have. We haven't even seen footage of his 100-point game. No, I'm not saying Dereck Lively's as good as Wilt Chamberlain, but I am saying, why couldn't he be? No, it's not just because of the preseason. It's not just because of the preseason, man. But did you see that clip though that I sent you? Yeah, if you gave Dereck Lively 50 shots, I think he could get 100 points. I think he could get 100 points. No, folks, the NBA preseason, in a lot of ways, it's just built to disappoint you. It's there to build up hope for players, for younger guys. You see flashes here and there, and you expect that to happen over the course of the entire season, only for you to be disappointed by the end of it. And we've seen one game so far from Dereck Lively, and already from that one preseason game, I saw a somewhat viral Twitter thread about why Dereck Lively could be as good as Giannis Antetokounmpo one day. And look, I love Dereck Lively. I said it a lot last season. I've said it in the offseason. We have to rethink what his ceiling is, because coming into the draft, he was this high-energy, rim-running center who could finish lobs and block some shots. It was a perfect fit for Luka Doncic and this Mavericks team. It was a perfect fit for Dereck Lively to land on this Mavericks team, and that was just kind of the end of it. But he was so good his rookie year. He was so important to a Dallas Mavericks team that made the NBA Finals that we have to rethink who he is as a player. And clips like these where he's taking the ball up the floor, little hesitation, crossover into a spin move and a tough finish and one, going the full length of the floor, it gets your mind racing. Because these are things that you do see from uber talented, high-end scorers and guys who develop into all-star, all-NBA level players. So let's talk a little bit about what Dereck Lively's ceiling could be this upcoming season for the Mavericks, what it could be moving forward throughout the rest of his career. And let's try to let's try to be a little bit reasonable here. Okay, I think it's a disservice for Dereck Lively. I think you're setting yourself up for disappointment by thinking that he could be on this Giannis Antetokounmpo development track. And 3, I think it's really underestimating who Giannis is. I mean, we're talking about an all-time great player, a 2-time MVP, somebody who's averaged 30 points per game twice in the last 2 seasons, somebody who's won Defensive Player of the Year, somebody who's the number 1 option on a championship-winning team and won Finals MVP, dropping 50 points in a closeout game. That's not who Dereck Lively profiles as a player. That's not who the Mavericks need Dereck Lively to be. It's a bizarre comparison to me. If we do just want to compare those two players, right, just see if there's any similarities between where they were early in Giannis's career and where Dereck Lively is currently, I still don't see it. And it doesn't make sense because Giannis came into the league playing shooting guard, playing small forward. He was like this lengthy, long athlete who could play a couple different positions. I was like, what was really intriguing about Giannis? 64% of Giannis's field goals his rookie year were assisted. So he showed those flashes of individual shot creation, whereas Dereck Lively's was 81% of his shots assisted. And that's a stupid comparison because Lively's a center, a lob finishing center, a rim running center. So of course his baskets are going to be assisted more often than not, but that's why I'm saying this comparison it doesn't make sense to begin with. 52% of Giannis's shots in year 2 were assisted, so we saw an even bigger self-creation leap there, and he averaged 4.3 mid-range attempts per 75 possessions that season. Just for comparison, Dereck Lively's rookie year, 0.8 mid-range shots per 75 possessions. So the overwhelming majority of Dereck Lively's shots at the rim, the overwhelming majority of those shots created by teammates, mainly Luka Doncic. And again, there's nothing wrong with that at all. Has Dereck Lively shown some flashes here and there of really interesting self-creation like the clip we saw earlier? Yes. But those are more of a luxury thing. I am so incredibly high on Dereck Lively and his ceiling. Why do we have to go here? I don't get it. It's not what the Mavericks need him to be. It's not what he needs to be to have a successful career. He just needs to grow and develop at things that he is already good at, things that are already being asked of him. And he could be an all-star player. He can be an all-defensive level player. He can be somebody who, Victor Wembanyama ends up missing some time, somebody who could compete here and there for Defensive Player of the Year votes. I mean, we already know how good of a rim protector he was as a rookie. He was in the 95th percentile in blocks. He was in the 87th percentile in rim contest. Opponent shot 5 percentage points worse at the rim when he contested. He was in the 90th percentile in points saved, the 94th percentile in defensive. LeBron, the stupidest fucking stat I've ever heard of. But hey, he was good at it, so I'm going to use it. And it is pretty rare for rookies and specifically rookie bigs to have as big of an impact as Dereck Lively had, especially on teams that are winning. We had this conversation all last offseason. Is it smart to rely on a rookie? There were so many stats that said teams that have rookies playing big minutes usually are not successful, usually do not have deep postseason runs, and the Mavericks were an exception to that last year because of Dereck Lively and how good he was. The Mavs were 5 points per 100 possessions better when Dereck Lively was on the court. For a rookie, he was that impactful on this team. Their offense was 8 points per 100 possessions better when he was on the floor. 8 full points. This is a rookie we're talking about. And it wasn't like the Mavs got to the postseason and it was like, oh, well, Dereck Lively, can't really rely on him. The moment's a little bit too big. He needs a little bit more seasoning. He was ready to go. He was locked and loaded. That was some of the best basketball he played all year long. Game 2 of the Western Conference Finals. Game in the balance. Mavs down 2. They need a huge stop here. Look at this individual defense by Dereck Lively on Anthony Edwards. Moving his feet, not biting on these pump fakes, and Anthony Edwards inevitably throws a turnover in the clutch because that's what he does. I'm just joking. You know I love Anthony Edwards, but that is what he did last year. That was who he was. Here the Rockets are playing a super small lineup with Jabari Smith Jr. at the 5, so Dereck Lively is on the perimeter guarding Reggie Bullock, Mavs legend. And look at him move his feet. I know it's Reggie Bullock, not the greatest isolation scorer, but that's really good footwork for a 7-foot center. Amin Thompson, one of the most athletic players in the league, and another great rookie defender last year. Look at Dereck Lively keep up with him transition. Look at him move those. Look at that hip turn. I mean, that is freakish stuff right there. That is really, really good athleticism. Very fluid. Again, a 7-footer with a 7'6", 7'7" wingspan. Moving like that is impressive. Again, Western Conference Finals switched on to Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards licking his chops. He wants to go to work on the rookie big. Look at the footwork. Look at him staying in front. Kyrie comes to help. Bad pass by Anthony Edwards. And another great defensive play in the NBA playoffs. Not great screen coverage here. Shea splits that, but Dereck Lively hanging with Shea on his back hip and using his length to recover and block the shot from behind. That is special defense right there from a rookie. Perfect help defense right here to pick up the roller and alter the 7-foot Chet Holmgren shot at the rim. Chet tried to catch a body right there. No, sir. No. Again, another huge defensive play in the playoffs. Not really sure what Terrence Mann thought was going to end up happening here, but that's about the result anybody could have expected right there. A monster block by Dereck Lively. Defensively, the comparison we see for Dereck Lively all the time, and it's just an easy one to make because of the Dallas Mavericks connection, is Tyson Chandler. Of course, Tyson Chandler was on the Mavericks 2011 NBA championship team. He was a ginormous reason why they won a ring that year, and he won Defensive Player of the Year the following season. So it's a pretty nice comparison to have. And you can see it, right? The size, the shot blocking, the athleticism and mobility out on the perimeter to move around, alter shots, guard guys on switches, which is more important in today's game than it was back in 2011. If we were to make a comparison to somebody in the league today, I've seen some Mavs fans say Gobert. I don't think that's a great comparison just because Gobert is a generational shot blocker, a generational rim protector. Say whatever you want about the guy. He has 4 Defensive Player of the Years. So say whatever you want about the guy, but he is generational. I do not think Lively will have the shot-altering prowess that Rudy Gobert has, but I do think Lively can be a little bit more mobile on the perimeter and a better perimeter defender than Gobert has been throughout his career, although Gobert's better at it than I think he gets credit for. I see a little Nick Claxton to Lively. Like Lively's a little bit taller, Nick Claxton. And Nick Claxton, when he's on a good basketball team, is somebody who's contending for Defensive Player of the Year awards. Mobile, moves really well. You feel comfortable whenever he's on switches and is a monster shot blocker, despite being traditionally small for a center. I see glimpses when Lively's on the perimeter and he moves his feet so well. It just does not feel like it's a mismatch when guards have Lively on him. You can just tell a guard's like, let's go, I got a center, it's time to go to work. And then, Lively does more than handle his own. It's really impressive. And I know we started this video off with the Giannis comparison because that's just what I've seen go around. And I don't think it's fair. I really don't. And I don't want it to seem like I'm belittling Dereck Lively because that's not at all what I'm doing. I'm saying let's pump the brakes on comparing him to a multiple-time MVP who's averaged 30 points per game in a season twice. Because I think it's crazy to think Dereck Lively can reach those heights scoring-wise. But again, he doesn't need to do that stuff. What his skill set is as a player offensively fits so perfectly with this Mavericks team. And if he improves or continues to improve in a handful of areas, it's going to make this Mavericks offense, especially with the new shooting additions they've made in Klay Thompson and Najee Marshall and Quentin Grimes, if you want to add him into the mix, it makes them almost unstoppable offensively. This is the part of Lively's game right here that is so intriguing, especially playing next to Luka Doncic. Luka sees 2 on a ball screen. Lively in the middle of the floor. Catches. Really great kick out to Josh Green for a wide open 3. This looks like a basic pass. This is a pass that a lot of centers in the NBA cannot make. They just cannot process that read fast enough. And there's a reason why the Dallas Mavericks shoot as many corner threes as they do, more than anybody else in the NBA last season. It's because Luka Doncic attracts so much attention. Help has to come from the corner onto guys like Dereck Lively who roll to the rim, and that leads to open kick-out threes. And again, this is a skill that Dereck Lively was so good at last year. Pocket pass from Kyrie Irving. Shea just has to help in a tiny bit, and it leads to a kick-out to P.J. Washington for 3. It's not a coincidence that P.J. Washington was going nuclear in this series against the Oklahoma City Thunder because he was bombing so many wide open threes because the Mavericks were so good at making that pass, and because Dereck Lively, as a rookie center, was so good at making that pass. I mean, the assist numbers don't jump out at you or anything, but you just see moments where he is a very smart, very capable passer, catches the ball here. Look at just how quickly he reads the defense, knows he's seeing 2, knows he's under the basket, kind of a weird angle to go up with it. Chet's behind him. Spin and kick out to the corner, P.J. Washington for 3. And can I say something really quickly here? This isn't an ESPN thing. You guys know I love to shit on ESPN. This isn't just an ESPN thing. All broadcasts are guilty of it. Can we not figure out a way to not have hands in the middle of the fucking play? How are we in 2024 and broadcasts are still ruined because people are throwing their hands up in front of the camera? How have we not fixed this? Back to Dereck Lively. My good friend Istok made a great point on Twitter that the clip going around from the preseason of Lively going coast to coast with a crossover thrown in, a hezzy thrown in, a spin move, and a tough and one finish, that is incredibly exciting for his future. Like, you see clips like that, and it's the sky is the limit. I mean, this is why you see the Giannis comparisons, even though I don't, not too many people are making the Giannis comparisons. I know I'm harping on it here. It's not a thing that's like popular, but it's the clip of him sealing off Marcus Smart and making a little post hook shot that is the most important for the Dallas Mavericks this season. It's not sexy. It's a shot you expect almost any 7-footer to make, right? Marcus Smart is short, but he's thick. Why is he so thick? People in my chat were calling him Marcus Lowry. I saw that he's had a kid recently, some sympathy weight. Hey, congratulations, Marcus Smart. That's great news. But the salad and go. But this was something that was a problem for Dereck Lively last year. His post hooks, his touch around the rim at times could abandon him. And this isn't something that the Mavericks relied on with any frequency whatsoever. But with how frequently defenses switch nowadays, with how much the Mavericks spam pick and roll, there's going to be plenty of times throughout the season where Dereck Lively has a smaller player on the block guarding him. We saw it in the finals last year with Jason Tatum. And Dereck Lively had some plays in the finals last year posting up Jason Tatum that were encouraging and promising. But it was an area of weakness for him overall last year. And this is where, in my opinion, a better comparison comes into play here offensively, which is Jared Allen. It's not the sexiest name, right? People might hear that. Mavs fans might hear that and get angry at me for insinuating that the incredible, beautiful Dereck Lively should be compared to Jared Allen. Jared Allen did make an all-star game, so take it a little easy on me. But I do see some comparisons to early Jared Allen, who came into the league as somebody who was a great lob finisher, athletic for his size, could block shots, great rim protector, somebody who could move out in space as well. Also some interesting passing upside, but his touch could abandon him at time, and there was a lot of questions as to whether or not he could be like a reliable post finisher in the NBA. And that sort of panned out his rookie year. That wasn't something that he excelled at all as a rookie, but over time, he sort of developed this post game that's not elite or anything like that, but it's at least something that they can go to whenever he has a smaller player on him. And it's something that's turned into a reliable source of offense at times for the Cavaliers. Is that something that Dereck Lively could develop? Because that's very important for the Mavericks. Right? Dereck Lively, this idea that he could create for himself off the dribble and do these, crossover, spin move, Euro steps, that's all great. And I would love for that to be true. Trust me, nobody wants that to be real more than me. But if he could develop a reliable post game, a reliable post hook, something that he could go to when he does have mismatches in the post, or something he can go to anyways if he gets the ball early enough down low, gets even another 7-footer that he could go to work, use his footwork, use his strength. That is incredibly important for the Mavericks, and it's more important than anything else, I think. And I do think that's something we could actually see come into play this upcoming season, because according to Dereck Lively, that's what he spent most of his summer working on, was his post game. And I do think the Jared Allen comparison's a little bit more interesting as well, because Jared Allen's a player who had better shooting touch in college than Dereck Lively did, but we also saw Jared Allen's mid-range game sort of expand over time. 1.8 mid-range jumpers per 75 possessions his rookie year, 37% on those jumpers. That number has more than doubled over his career. Last year, he averaged 3.6 mid-range jumpers per 75 possessions at a 49% clip. I don't know what the future holds for Dereck Lively jump shooting-wise. This is something that we've talked about time and time and time again. I think it's more of a luxury than anything else if Dereck Lively does develop a jumper. But he did hit one in the NBA Finals, and the shot doesn't look broken or anything. So it could be something that develops over time. I will say the free throw shooting percentage does not indicate somebody who has a jumper hidden in there. 50% on free throws last year. That's a big part of his game. We're talking about ways that Dereck Lively can improve. We're talking about, the ceiling for Dereck Lively. That number has to get better, because he's going to be good enough to be on the court, big minutes, in big moments, in playoff games. And we saw last year in the Thunder series, they employed a Lively method. They were fouling him intentionally to get him to the free throw line. It's not sexy to talk about somebody improving their free throw percentage, but if he can get that to like mid-60s, up to 70, hopefully, then that changes things quite a bit for him as well. I am incredibly excited about Dereck Lively this upcoming season, about the remainder of his career. If you followed my NBA 2K25 Slightly GM series, you know that Dereck Lively was quite the diva. He was a problem child in NBA 2K. I don't think that that's the case in real life. He seems like an incredible guy. Is a Giannis Antetokounmpo ceiling in the cards for Lively? I'm just going to come out and say no. And if I'm wrong about that, I'm happy to be wrong about that. I'm happy to be wrong. But I see Dereck Lively making all-star games. Absolutely yes. Absolutely yes. Anybody who tries to laugh at you for thinking that is wrong, and they don't know ball. Just tell them that. You don't know ball and you didn't watch what a rookie center was capable of doing last year. In an environment that needed him. There was a lot of pressure on him as a 19-year-old rookie to come in and fill this role for a team competing for a championship, and he did that. I'm thinking the ceiling is 12 to 15 points a game, maybe 9 to 10 rebounds, and 3 assists. Like that would be like a peak Dereck Lively season, I think, and that is an all-star season for sure, combined with the defense that he plays. I'm interested to hear what you guys think, so please leave a comment. And I'm interested to hear, am I selling him short? Do you guys really think he has a Giannis MVP leap in his future? I really don't, but that's not me shitting on Dereck Lively. That's just me acknowledging how good Giannis Antetokounmpo is. And I'm proud to be an American.